Hey guys, so it's Friday. I figured I'd do like a quick walk around in the shop, just show you some of the stuff that we have going on briefly. It's not going to be a super long video, but I just wanted to put something out there. We are extremely busy, so it's been hard to film and try to create content or whatever, but I just wanted to show you sort of what we're dealing with in terms of situation here. Got a ton of cars and projects and customer vehicles and all sorts of stuff going on. Got a plethora of Evos in here getting various levels of work or whatever. This car here is getting intercooler plumbing and new full-size radiator, Evo 456. Going through, modified some of the intercooler plumbing to make this intercooler work. Car was purchased by a shop friend of ours who just wants to get it up and running, speed density tuned. This Evo up here on the lift is our buddy Dre's. This car is getting a new turbo setup, new exhaust, new downpipe, etc., etc. It's also his EP3 down there on the bottom. The silver Evo over here, this looks like a 9, it is an 8, so I guess you could call it like an 8.5. It's got all Evo 9 appearance items on it. But this car will actually be for sale soon. This is a project that we've been working on for some time. Speed density car, 2.4 rod and piston setup, 4G64 bottom end, forged internals. New exhaust, new coilovers, new downpipe, new intercooler plumbing, new blow-off valve, freshly tuned on speed density. This is one of our K24 fit race car projects. This is sort of in holding pattern right now. It's MK4 Supra. This is an old Indy pace car. This was one of the 5 or 6 or 7 Indy pace cars from, I believe, 1993 or 94 that PPG built back in the day. This car has a twin GTX 30R setup on it. Not really the setup that the owner wants. He wants to track the car, so he really wants fast power band. Not looking for a ton of peak power, but it's got a lot of really cool, interesting features. Fully hand-rolled aluminum door panels and stuff. I mean, it's really cool. The car is a little bit dated, obviously, just in terms of when it was last worked on, but should be something that we can get at least cleaned up and doing what he wants to use the car for. So this will mostly be like track days and stuff like that. Somewhere in the ballpark of 550 horsepower. R32 GTR, this is Scott's car. The motor is currently out of this thing. We're doing 10.1 to 1 custom pistons, valve relief cuts for big lift cams, freshening up the bottom end, going 1/2 mil overbore. But this will be a pump gas / E85 car, somewhere in the ballpark, conservatively at maybe 480 wheel on pump or 460 wheel on pump, and under 600 wheel on 85. It does have a stock 5-speed transmission in it, so he's not trying to break anything, because finding parts for these cars isn't the easiest thing in the world. It's getting easier as they're becoming more popular in the States, but can't talk about that. This is a beautiful supercharged S2000. Local guy Mike owns it. Car makes somewhere in the ballpark of 400 wheel horsepower. It's got about 48,000 miles on it. It's absolutely gorgeously clean. It's on Olin's DFV. Interior is beautiful and immaculate. Not factory. He does track the car, but yeah, it's beautiful inside and out. Paintwork is beautiful. It's basically all original with the exception of externally wise. You know, it does have plenty of mods, but externally it's mostly stock. Original, I think it's an 01. But then the FD2R conversion project. This is actually my wife's car. Car came back recently from paint. This is full NHO for all you Honda nerds out there. That's championship white. It's got all OEM part conversion, sourced over the past few years of slowly collecting things just to try to save a few bucks. But all new striping tape and things like that on the pillars. It'll have all new belt moldings, seals, grommets, little corner windows here. It's getting a new windshield as well. Side-bond carbon hood, just because my wife likes to stunt. And still waiting on some of the panels and stuff, getting that back from paint and buff. The 05 STI rally build. So this is a amateur rally car. It'll be an ARA car used in the US by our boy Dylan. Right now the cage is done, back from paint. Billy Doyle did the cage. He does fantastic work and he does things very quickly, so we ended up outsourcing it to him. Try to save some of the metal dust mess that building cages creates inside of the shop. We have a lot of cars that we don't really want to subject them or their paint work to that sort of abrasive particles or whatever. But so yeah, the car's in process getting interior wiring sorted out. We're removing and eliminating a lot of unused wiring and things like that. Dash will go back in and get fitted. This will have an aftermarket DCCD controller. That's a center differential controller, which has internal yaw logic and all this stuff. So that should be pretty cool. It actually is small brakes. So we converted it to the 06 TR brakes with a custom DBA rotor. That way it can fit under 15-inch wheels. He's got 15-inch speedline forces, which will be pretty cool. Pretty minimal inside of the engine bay. I don't know if this is open right now. Yes, it is. So, radium coolant expansion tank. We'll also be running the chase bays, power steering reservoir, and everything over there on the side. Chase bays, booster delete with the manual bias controller built right in. So that will give us the ability to dial in rear brake bite and stuff like that. The car will have a hydraulic e-brake with a secondary caliper on a custom bracket that we designed and will be fabricating. Hole in the roof was cut for a carbon roof scoop. Kind of a cool little piece from Poland. The Laguna Blue E46 M3. I've had a few people ask about this car. Older gentleman from New York. Car came into us basically stock on the exterior, with the exception of a ESS 550 or 650 V2 kit. So it's a supercharged stock motor S54 with an ESS supercharger kit. We did dyno the car. The car makes somewhere in the ballpark of 480 with 350 torque. That's on a Mustang dyno. But yeah, otherwise, I mean, motor-wise, it's pretty stock. It's just the ESS supercharger kit, and then we added the cooling vents and all that stuff, trying to keep the car cool. It is a track car, obviously, in the exterior, but it's a track day vehicle. We ended up doing a new wheel and tire combo on it. It's a 18 by 9.5 plus 22 all around, so it's a square setup. From his previously staggered setup, we went through and rebuilt the brakes. So these are a StopTech ST40 with just, we serviced the rotor rings, the hardware, put some new performance friction PF08 pads on it. We do have the build journal front polyurethane lip with splitter. We did modify that a little bit because he does have an aftermarket air to oil cooler underneath there, so we added a NACA duct. I can't really get low enough to show you that, but let's see if I can squeeze in there. Not happening. So yeah, it's under there, trust me. But car is on Olin's road and track suspension. We ended up going with, I can't remember the brand, but these camber caster adjustable top hats. They're really easy to adjust from the top. They're a really nice piece. So we were able to add a bunch of camber, actually add a little bit more caster than factory, which on a BMW, if you guys know anything about BMWs, you know they have a ton of caster stock. But the car is still slated to get a APR GTC 250 wing. We've gone through, we've had the car for quite some time, so we've gone through, we pulled the rear subframe out, we did the Lang engineering, reinforcement plates, welded those in, reinstalled everything. We've also taken the interior out. So this was a 48,000 mile original Laguna 01 with gray interior. We ended up going with VAC Motorsports billet seat rails, OMP sliders, OMP side mounts, OMP seats and harnesses. These are the HTER OMPs, full headrest seat, head restraint seat. 4-point cage inside. I don't know if you guys can see that so well, but this was another thing that we had Billy Doyle do for us. Did a fantastic job. Turnaround was very quick, and the pricing was pretty fair. Ended up going with these, I can't remember what brand it is, it's obviously stamped in the thing, but just these heel plates, because when you pull the factory carpet out of these things, your feet like fall into these channels while you're trying to drive it. It's very uncomfortable. So we ended up doing a matching, 2-seat combo for him and his co-driver. His wife is also interested in track days and stuff like that, so I believe she has a Lotus. So he wanted the availability for her to come along with him. But it's a really cool car. It's a very low mileage car. Obviously, for the purists out there, it might be a little bit extreme, but if it's any consolation, the owner doesn't care. So he doesn't care about Laguna Blue or Heritage or OEM cars. He likes blue. He's said many times he likes blue, and that's it. So there you go, driving up the value on all the pristine examples out there that'll never get modified or driven to be enjoyed. So that's something. Then we've got Wesleys FD over here. So the car originally came in for a little bit of fab work, a little bit of tuning, a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Things progress as they always do with beers and conversation. So now the motor is completely out of it. It's all stripped down. So this will be sent to paint. It's getting all redone, either Montego blue or Chast white. That's sort of yet to be determined. Car's getting a 99 spec front bumper, which I posted on Instagram a couple of days ago, but 99 spec JDM bumper, 99 spec JDM front lip, 2-piece. So this thing will be pretty cool. He bought it as a pretty rough shell in Florida. You can probably tell that it's not, the mintiest thing in the world. But it's getting increasingly harder to find these cars for reasonable price. So, he sort of got the perfect owner car. Florida car, very little rust. I think only a little bit on the hatch from standing water. Otherwise, underneath, this thing is absolutely pristine. So this will be a fun project to see unfold. He's got a bunch of cool interior goodies and things like that will spice it up. It's going to be, OEM plus interior. He wants it to be a street car. It probably will be wingless. Very, very, very low key. I know that, with RX-7s, a lot of times you can go crazy and it's totally justified because they look great no matter what, but Wesley's tastes are that it sort of retains that stock shape. And then the TTRs, this is a, what the heck is the name of the color? It's a racetrack and then gray. What is it? Silverstone gray, maybe? No. Spa gray? I don't know. Whatever. But it's a very light gray, almost like a white color. This is one of the early TTRS 5-cylinders, so it is a gated manual car, which is kind of uncommon. The thing's in really good shape. This is one of our drivers, Gary, owns this car. He's also got a 996 Millennium Edition and another 225 up there. If I can... There you we go. Pristine 225. I don't know, you know, to all the Audi guys, you know what that is. It's just TT Quattro plus basically. So, cool Audi TT, pretty clean. Just my E90 335 getting a motor. It's an XI. Shane is actually putting a new motor in this thing. So motor and transits together, drive lines together. This is ready to go back in. The previous motor seized up, but so that's going back together. This is a way too big collection of motors and parts and transmissions and all sorts of stuff. But Lemon's Accord. This is a Time Attack Civic that I actually recently purchased. My wife and I sort of went in halvesies on this car just to try to finally take ownership of it. It was here for some time. The previous owner, life kind of got in the way, and his interest changed or whatever. So we were able to pick it up. Not really quite sure what we're going to do with this thing yet, but makes somewhere in the ballpark of 650 horsepower. It's on C85, EFR 7670 twin scroll, full race manifold. It's a 2-liter with a Pro 163 4-piston cylinder head, CNC ported, 2-liter bottom end, PPG first through fourth straight cut. Kind of a interesting little ditty, but previous owner was a pretty large dude in terms of frame. So when I sit in this thing, I'm like a child. So we'd have to work that out, you know, ahead of time and maybe get a proper size seat in it or whatever. But that's kind of where we're at. There's some projects I can't really disclose or talk about. There's some projects that we don't actually know what we're doing yet. It's just one of those deals where they drop it off and they don't really have a plan. They're just like, I want to do stuff, but I don't know what. So that's about it. I'll just hit you with the Lotus quick. So this is the Lotus V6 Cup, supercharged 3.5 Toyota Camry motor, so 2GR. This body style, I don't know, you know, if you guys know anything about these, there's not a ton of them on the street. As far as I know, Lotus did not do the crash testing that they were required to do in order to legalize these cars. I think they ended up pouring their efforts into the Evora, which is effectively the same thing, but yeah, neat car, 380 horsepower, 380 torque. It's too small for me, so I can't really fit anything since it's 4, but lots of fun, lots of guys enjoy it. So that's about it. I figured, you know, give you guys like a little 10 or 15 minute walkthrough on some of the projects that we're working on. I want to try to make videos more regular, but again, it's difficult with the volume of stuff that we do. We are a functional shop. These are not my cars. This is not some, you know, do it for the Gram channel or anything like that. This is actually just a catalog or a video log of, you know, the work that we do and the customers that we work with. So just be patient. You know, I'll try to get more stuff together so that we can sort of zoom in on some of these projects. If you guys have specific questions or something like that concerning one of these cars or a car that you like, you know, just feel free to say something down in the comments and we'll reach out as best we can. But other than that, you know, thanks for watching the video and look out for more.